Tanvir, welcome. I'm joined by Tanvir Danish, Executive Vice President and Global Head of Data and AI at 66 Degrees. It's great to be with you here today, Tanvir.
Ben, it's great to be here at Next, full of energy, and we're excited to really march down the next agentic enterprise transformation happening in the industry.
Absolutely. As we're on the floor of Google Next here, 2026, Tanvir, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on what you're seeing as the latest trends in the AI and data transformation market.
Yeah, there's lots happening, Ben, as you know, like the Gen AI launch and birth in 2024 has matured to launching agents in 2025 to where we are right now, which is autonomous agentic enterprise. So this evolution is very exciting. It means a lot for the business. But when I think about innovation happening in the industry that I'm super excited about, I think about three areas. Number one, foundational. So these are the frontier modules, but also the small LLMs, which is really conditional to the enterprise assets. And so how do you build SLMs that are not as costly and as very relevant to the enterprise use cases? The second one is compute on the edge. And both of these require a set of hardware that really processes things at the right scale, at the right cost for right inferencing. And that to me is amazing. There's lots of exciting. Google just announced its GPU, its new TPU, the latest V8 series. NVIDIA continues to innovate with its Blackline. Super excited about those innovations happening in the industry.
Well, fantastic. Tanvir, as you think about you lead a global practice. You lead our AI and data practice, and the fastest growing at 66 Degrees is, as you think about the trends in the industry, and as you guide our clients and through building agents and building them to be AI-enabled businesses, how do you think about and how do you shape 66 Degrees in our data and AI practices?
Yeah, so we are super excited about this transformation, and our employees are as well, right? And so if you think about agentic enterprise transformation, a core component of it is agentic workforce. An agentic workforce that works side by side with AI. In many cases, it utilizes UI to do its own work. In other cases, it's a sparring partner. So what we have done is we have taken our entire delivery, so we are a consulting professional services business. So we have taken our entire delivery model, full end-to-end life cycle, because the journey to really understand clients' business problem starts pre-sales. So we start from there. How do we go to market? How do we understand clients' context? How do we translate that into a value proposition that the client can sign up with us and then drive that into a real engagement? This sets a strong foundation for us. This agentic first approach to it is really transforming how we formulate value for our clients and how do we convert that into a real engagement. Work that downstreams with our delivery team. Our delivery teams now are powered with, they can understand day one, the context of the discovery that was done pre-sales. We use notebook LLM all the time, but then we build agents on top of it. And so this enterprise transformation for us from our own agentic workforce is really about this entire end-to-end delivery workflow and really injecting, where applicable, the right kinds of agents to either assist or automate the workflow. There's a second layer to this, which is if you really talk to our architects and engineers, the leading cutting-edge AI architects and engineers, what are they most excited about? What they are most excited about is what our clients are most excited about, which is to build real IP that drives differentiation in market. And so we are building that over here. We call it our ADF framework, but underlying that ADF framework is an enterprise-grade machinery, an AI factory that allows you to build and experiment with agents at scale, and at the same time have observability baked in, so you can monitor quality over time. Security is really critical and important to our clients in healthcare and BFSI and so on and so forth. And so it's baked in there. So that's the second layer of our organization transformation, is how do we create these core offerings for our clients under our ADF framework, which is Agent Development Framework, with the right kind of assets that allow our clients to get up and running in a production grade environment, day one versus day end.
It's very clear. Let me play this back to you. Is I hear two key pieces here. First of all, what I hear you saying is you're starting with the customer. And you're talking about and starting with the customer journey, say how can we best serve that customer with our people, but then also enabled by agents. And that starts with the pre-sales journey and the go-to-market journey, goes through the solutioning journey, and then it goes through the delivery journey. And how are we as 66 Degrees creating a seamless customer experience with our people, and then our people enabled by agents. And then the second part is, how are we shaping our offerings with the key pillar of that offering is agent development framework. To your point, how are we helping them think about an agentic architecture? How are we helping change and enable their people, change management over their organization, and then how are we helping them financially measure that? From a tokenomics, how are we helping them make sure that they're driving efficiencies and gains back to the P&L? So it's us changing our business from the customer lens and then developing clear offerings. Does that sound right?
Very well said. Our internal transformation in the service of our client's business transformation with those two key legs is exactly where we're at.
Very, very clear, Tanvir. Tanvir, where I want to go next is clients constantly, in the evolution of technologies, it always comes back to value. It always comes back to say, as I adopt this technology or as I build this use case, how does this help me better serve my customers and therefore grow my revenue? Or how does this help me better operate efficiently so that I can drive cost out of my business? And either one of those would drive profitability growth and ROI. Could you walk me through how you're thinking about and guiding clients on their transformation journey, but always having an eye on customer value?
Yes, this is near and dear to our heart, Ben. Because fundamentally, we are in the business to drive value for our clients. And the path to value, the business value, is a critical step in that in terms of how we shape it and how we execute it. From a shaping perspective, when we talk to our clients, especially clients who are looking to do this at scale, the path to value is built with intentionality. What do I mean by that? What I mean is AI strategy in itself doesn't exist in isolation. It is in service of a business strategy. And these two need to intersect. The moment we find those intersections, those are the clients we are finding who are moving faster in terms of path to value. I call it the interstate to a destination. Why? Because we can make that big business value decisions in terms of what do we want to achieve, and we intersect with the AI transformation. Let me actually bring it to life with an example.
It'd be great.
So a key segment we serve in the market is our healthcare clients. A number of our healthcare clients, why are they in business? They're in business to drive patient outcomes. They want to invite the best of treatments, invite the patients to get best of treatments such that they can then grow their own business. Now in doing so, they have to do it in a financially viable manner. And therefore, they have to be responsible on the revenue cycle management on one side, and on the supply chain side from the different services that the different items that they procure to provide the services. So there's a fine balance between why you exist, which is to serve the patients and the patient outcomes, which is a business strategy, to an underlying dynamics of how you fund it on an ongoing basis. I call it the value exists on an interstate. And that's where this to and fro needs to happen in terms of road mapping. So a big part of us is working this roadmap with our clients, aligning AI strategy not just for the sake of building cool agents and agents that you can just show small value, incremental value, but also value that is truly driven towards this highway to a destination. And the destination is true business outcome where you build your brand for driving true patient outcomes for your clients. Let me break down like if there's alignment on the strategy, how do you then build it to the execution?
Great.
And we encourage our clients to work on 3 specific areas in parallel with as fast a velocity as possible. Number 1, we want it to be use case driven. We talked about the strategy alignment. The use cases in this context are critical and important of where you start, what you build with high velocity. At the end of it, we want to have a value exit. It needs to have an ROI. And so that's our first pathway. Really make sure that we are building agents. We're not just talking about it and conceptualizing it. We're not just having a 2x2 grid of value and effort, but we're actually building it, failing fast, experimenting fast, not truly worrying about production yet, but certainly proving out the value to your organization and gaining momentum. Number 2, if the value really comes when you put something in production, then you got to think about what your production AgentOps environment is.
Sure.
Observability matters, security matters, the quality of answer matters, and if you don't pay attention to this, you're really putting yourself at risk. The risk could be of many kinds, including the risk of hallucination from your agents, because really they are not built to be monitored. And if you don't monitor, the quality of your business decisions is not understood. And if that's not understood, all of the effort that you have put in building this massive agent with the right strategy and everything else, no value is realized.
Sure.
Number 3, so if you have the lighthouse agent approach, and in parallel you're building this AI factory infrastructure that allows agentic enterprise to thrive,
Yep.
what's the unique proposition you're creating in the industry to really differentiate your business? And we really believe in working with clients, that's their enterprise data assets. That's their enterprise knowledge assets. And what we find often is those are siloed. And so when the data is siloed, the agentic infrastructure is learning from incomplete information, making really decisions that are not optimal. And so we want to solve for that problem. This is your data infrastructure that needs to be organized in a consolidated manner. We often go for a Lakehouse architecture with a medallion layer baked on top of it. And then last but not least, real information about the context of the data. And so we manifest that in many different ways in terms of topology, in terms of semantic layers, so on and so forth. We call it AI-ready data cloud. And that's our third key leg. So lighthouse clients, enterprise-ready AI factory, and then underlying it, true differentiators in terms of how you use data as the fuel, as the right context for your autonomous agentic enterprise decisioning to be really powerful and differentiated, all in service of driving a business outcome. So that's how we see path to value evolving for our clients.
Tanvir, this is really powerful, because as I think about and I hear you walk through these 3 different steps of helping our clients reshape and refactor their business, I think about really as I think about building 66 degrees, and as we work collaboratively to build 66 degrees or any business, it's what are we doing? Where are we? What are the use cases we're doing to create value? And that could be outward customer facing, or that could be what we're doing to run the business in a profitable, efficient way. That's your first layer. The second is, what you're talking about is how can you govern and manage and create agents? It's not that different than our business. Is, how can we manage and how can we create an SOP and how can we create an employee handbook for our teams and for our people? What you're doing is you're creating a similar approach for a business running with agents. And the third piece comes from your data asset. And so as we're building a business, the question is that what makes our client or what makes 66 degrees special? What gives them a competitive advantage? And it comes down to data, comes down to some sort of IP or knowledge, and then it comes down to process and actually how you're, and so what you're doing is, what are we doing at the top layer of use cases? How are we building capabilities into agents and people? And then how are we managing our data in order to deliver against the promise we're having in the market? It's very similar to how you build a business.
Absolutely, Ben. And you would know better than most people here. We as builders for our clients really appreciate the alignment between business strategy and AI strategy, execution with intentionality and pace, which comes with our lighthouse clients, but then driving true business value through data asset and enterprise knowledge assets management to drive agentic enterprise workflows. And that to us is where the nirvana is.
Fantastic. Tanvir, thank you for joining me today.
Ben, always a pleasure.
Great to connect.